Hi, and welcome back to Rediscovering RC. I wanted to follow up with a quick update on my experience with the Raceform Lazer Jig. You may have, if you saw my episode where I first covered this product, I kind of followed up afterwards with in the editing room with some follow-up experiences. And since then, I've also gone through and I've basically, I've glued up 2 more sets of tires with this experience. And the experience was the same across the 2 sets of tires. And I kind of have to follow up with some good and some not so good things to say about the jig. Now the jig itself, I mean, it's a pretty decent approach, and they have the right idea as far as, you know, making it easy to glue your tires with this jig. And in my experience with the 2 sets of tires that I went on to glue after this, rear tires, once I figured out the little, kinks into how to do the process, I had no problems with rears at all. It was a piece of cake to do, both the inner and outer. I've got perfect rears in the case of both sets. Where the problem lies, and where I think the flaw of this design is really with the front wheels. What happens is basically is that when, let me go ahead and prepare this. So I got a pair of 2Rs. The last set of tires that I mounted were these fronts. So if you remember the last time, I kind of had some problems with the fronts, and as you can see here, again, I had a problem where the seam just got glued before it got to drop back in. Now, part of the thing is, number one, these are Proline tires. These are the hole shots for 4-wheel drive fronts, and it's a very soft, pliable rubber. So when it comes out of the, basically the groove, it's kind of lazy to come back in. So that's one aspect of it that's kind of wrong. The other problem that I really have when gluing this is that when you bring this on, it puts puts pressure on this side. It's going to be tough because this is already glued, but it puts pressure on this side, and what it does is it tends to lift the opposite side of the wheel while you're going around. Now what happens there is that as you get that lift, you're going to get some inconsistency in the way that the jig kind of separates the bead from the wheel. And as a result, as you can see, I just ended up with a tire that, where the bead just got stuck out on the outside. Now the inside again was not so much of a problem, because I kind of saw a video from PM Hobbycraft where they went over gluing some tires, and I got to give credit to them, because when you're using thin glue, it's actually pretty easy, and with a soft pliable tire like this, it kind of makes sense. If you just with a needle run through and just let the the glue soak in through the seam, it'll make its way into into that seam there and fill it in. And as you can see, I mean, everything is perfect, and it kind of like gives me a good seal there. I don't have any problems with this tire, and I think that this will work on the track. So again, where I think the problem lies in this design is that with the thread that they use here to hold the wheel and the wheel itself, there's a little bit of play. Okay, you can probably hear it, the wiggle there. So unlike the 8-scale tire, and again, I think this is specific to the 10-scale version. I've seen the 8-scale version of this jig in use, and I think that design is a lot better in the sense that they have like an acrylic post that more closely matches the size of this hole. So I don't think it's a problem with the 8-scale tires. I think it's really something specific to this. So if there could be a sleeve that can be placed on top of this, or something that can fill in this little bit of extra space, you can see the wobble that I have here, simply because this threaded rod is just, there's a good at least 0.5 millimeter of clearance there, back and forth. So if this could be made a little more solid to where this doesn't wobble as much, I think that the gluing experience for front wheel, for front tires is going to be much better than the rear. So having said that, again, I just wanted to get this information out to let you guys know that, again, I don't think that this is a bad jig. Really, it's just a flawed jig, and I think that Raceform can, improve on this design if they can find some way to replace this threaded shaft here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to write the company, let them know what my experience was, what I think, how they can resolve this issue. Maybe they can take an approach to what they've done with the 8-scale jig, where they can just replace it with a rod that more closely matches the size of this. And who knows, maybe we'll get an improved product out of this. In either way, if I get a response from them, I'll be sure to follow up with an update for you guys to let you know. So my final consensus on this is really your mileage may vary. So again, for rear tires, it's great. For front tires, I think that if you're using thin glue, you're probably just better off. Again, you can still use the jig. Put it on here, and by all means, move the roller out of the way and spin it around, and with a needle, just let that glue sit in there and fall into the seam. In the meantime, like I said, let's see if we get a response from Raceform, and I'll be sure to let you know what I hear.